Hello friends, I am here with another video, and in today's video we will be doing my January wrap-up, my first book reading wrap-up of 2025. And I read some pretty good books in January. I read a total of 7 books, and I wanted to go over a little bit of like some stats with you all before I go over all the books that I read. So the first thing I will go over is what like my star rating stats. So I had 2 5-star reads, 2 4-star reads, and I had 2 3.5-star reads and then 1 3-star reads. So I had a pretty good reading month, no 2 stars, but oh yeah, I also had 1 DNF, unfortunately. But that's okay. Only 1 DNF, and I DNF that only 100 pages in. So yeah, that is the star rating stats. And then as far as genre stats, I read 3 fantasy romance books. I read 1 paranormal romance book. I read 1 romantic suspense book. And then I read 1 YA fantasy. And then I also read 1 thriller. So a variety of genres, mostly romance, because fantasy romance, paranormal romance, and romantic suspense. So a lot of romance, but that is my typical genre, so not surprising there. So yeah, we will go over all the more in depth of the books I read in the month of January now. Okay, so the first book we will just go over really quickly is the one book that I DNF'd. And the one book I DNF'd was Ascension by Nicholas Binge. I am not going to talk about this for very long. This is just I think it's like a sci-fi thriller. And from what I read 100 pages in it, and I was very bored, and I did not care for any of the characters, and so I had to put it down because it was putting me in a slump. Like, I did not want to pick it up, and I was dreading picking it up. This is a book that I was trying to read for a read it or unhaul video, which kind of I was trying to do my first read or unhaul video, and it kind of failed. But I'm going to do another one with books that I think will be better, that I'll be more excited to read. I know it's a read or unhaul, but I also want to be excited for some of the books I'm reading in that too. And these ones, I wasn't super excited. I wanted to read some of them, but also I was struggling to want to read them, and I want to be kind of excited in my read it or unhaul videos, even though I know it's meant to want to see what is my taste and what I want to unhaul. And that read it and unhaul was for my book of the month and aardvark book, so that's why this was on there. It was an it's an aardvark book, but yeah, I had to DNF it. I was bored. If I was these group of people that I don't even know, there's this mountain that randomly popped up, and they are going to explore it because I think there's people that went missing on it, or something happened with them, but they want to explore it, and then weird things start happening when they're exploring it. I don't know, I didn't even get that far. They were just starting climbing this mountain when I DNF'd it. But yeah, I was just really bored, and I just figured this is not for me. It may be for you, but I was very bored with it, and honestly I couldn't really even tell you what it's about because I just was zoning half the time reading it. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad book or anything like that. Like, for me personally, it was just not for me. So yeah, that is enough of that. Let's go to the books that I actually finished now. Okay, so the first book that I finished in January was Quicksilver by Callie Hart. And oh my gosh, I am so mad that I did not read this sooner. Like, this is gonna, like, Kingfisher is gonna be my new obsession. Like, oh, I love him so much. Yeah, this book was so good. Again, this follows Kingfisher. Again, I am very bad at names, but yeah, Kingfisher is like the main male character, and it's a fantasy romance. It's about this girl who, like, I think she's like gets arrested in the beginning, and then like she gets almost like killed. Like, this is not a spoiler, like it's like very like in the beginning, and she gets almost like killed, but then like this like mysterious guy that she doesn't know who it is like saves her, and then she gets transported into this like fae world, and that's where the story takes off. Like, it's a fantasy romance, like, and she tries to do this stuff like to get back into her like normal kingdom. Like, she doesn't want to stay in this like fae kingdom, so she has to do these things before she can leave this fae world. So yeah, that's where the story takes off, and it's like, I love the romance, I love the world, like, I loved like the characters, like not just Kingfisher, there was like a lot of side characters I loved, and I loved it so much. It was such a fun, good time, great fantasy romance, and I highly recommend. Oh, also, if you didn't guess that, I rated that one 5 stars. So that was one of the 2 books that I rated 5 stars. All right, next book was the one thriller I read, and that is One by One by Ruth Ware. And this follows a group of colleagues that started up this like app for like connecting people through music. Like, you're able to like click on like a person, and you're able to see what they're listening to in real time, and then you can listen to that song at the same time as that person is listening to that song. And so yeah, they like started up this company, and then they decided to go on this like work retreat because there is like some stuff they have to talk about like who, like some like business stuff, like who gets the share, like I think shareholders, I don't know, like but yeah, it's a company retreat, and there's a lot of drama in this. And then it starts out like they go skiing one day, and there's an avalanche warning, so they all like come back, but then one person ends up missing after they like get back to the resort, and they don't know what happened to them. And then that's where it kicks off. Like, everybody, like, things start happening to other people as well. Like, people get killed off. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, obviously it's one by one, so people get like killed off as the story goes, and we're trying to figure out who is the culprit and what is actually happening. And everybody is a suspect. And yeah, I thought it was a very good read for this time of year. Very good winter read. And I thought it was an okay read. I think I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars because it kept me like turning the pages, and I was very intrigued. But like the ending like shocked me. Like I was a little bored in the beginning though, like especially like all the talk about like the business stuff. Like I didn't really care about that. But yeah, once it got to the ending and like things started like happening, I was very excited. But yeah, that's like the reason why it's 3.5 stars is because like that beginning, like I was kind of bored. And this is another book that I read for that reader or unhaul book vlog that didn't happen. And yeah, I read this book and then I DNF'd that one. That is why that vlog was a complete failure. And then I started another one, but then never finished that one. Like I like barely got into it. And then February started. So I was like, I'm just gonna scrap that vlog and I will do another reader unhaul. Like I will do another reader unhaul. I'm not gonna promise when, but I will do one because I've been wanting to from seeing other people do reader unhaul videos. So yeah, I want to do one. But yeah, anyway, this book, it was a decent thriller. Yeah, great for the winter season. Yeah, 3.5 stars. All right, and then the third book I read, you should all know what it's about, or what it is, and that is Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. I love it, so I can't really say anything about what this particular book is about because I don't want to say spoilers. But I mean, if you don't already know what Fourth Wing is, it follows Violet, who goes to this dragon rider academy, war college, and she has to her mom forces her to become a dragon rider, even though she's been getting taught and trained to be a scribe. But then her mom makes her be a dragon rider. So she has to cross a parapet and do a lot of other tasks to become a dragon rider in the first book. And then this is just this is the third book. So yeah, I can't say much about this, but oh my gosh, the third book, I don't know how I read anything after this, but I somehow did. But yeah, I love this. This was everything. I loved how the world expanded in this. I loved more you learn more about the certain characters. And yeah, I love this. I loved every moment of this. Obviously, this was 5 stars for me. And I'm just patiently trying to wait for the 4th book. I know Rebecca Yarros says it won't come out for 2 years. And you know what? She can take her time, but I will just be here trying to patiently wait for it. But yeah, I know she's gonna take her time with it, and I know it will be just as amazing as this one. But yeah, I'm just I just love this so much. A great installment to the Fourth Wing series. And also Xaden is everything. Perfect book boyfriend in my opinion. But yeah, love this book. One of my favorite, probably my favorite read of January. All right, so I already showed both of my 5-star reads, so we only go kind of down from here, but not really down because I still enjoyed the 3 books that I'm going to show you. So yeah, the next book I read, I wanted something easy to read after finishing Onyx Storm, something quick and easy. And that is Echoes of You by Catherine Cowles. This is the second book in the Lost and Found series. And it's a series of standalones, so you could read this one by itself. You do not have to read The Whispers of You is the first book in the series. But yeah, you do not have to read that book to read this one. But this follows Nash and oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name. I am so bad at like names. Maddie. Nash and Maddie. It follows Nash and Maddie, and they were childhood friends, and then she moved away and got married, and then but now she's coming back because of, and came back divorced, and she's hiding secrets on what happened in that relationship. Check trigger warnings for this book before you jump into it. But yeah, she like gets like talking to her best friend again, and then obviously like a romance forms, but then there's also a suspense element to it because, you know, she has like, yeah. So yeah, it says, oh no, it was a great romantic suspense book, and it was a great like it was good to read after finishing Onyx Storm. I don't really want to say too much because I don't want to like spoil anything, but because it's a romantic suspense, so it's not like they like just fall, like there's like a suspense element to it too, and I don't want to say too much without spoiling, but I had a good time with this. I loved the couple, and like I'm not a big like friends to lovers lover. Which is funny because that's how me and my husband met, but you know, I don't know why I don't like reading about it. Even though, I mean, I've liked some of them. It's not my favorite, I should say. Like, I don't like hate the friends to lovers trope. Like, it's not my favorite to read about. I don't know. Maybe because I'm living, I don't know. Don't ask me. I like enemies to lovers. I don't know what that's. But anyway, I gave this a 4-star rating. I had a good time, kind of good time. Like there was a suspense stuff, so I don't know if you can say good time, but it was a good romance and suspenseful enough. It like had me like turning the pages at the end. Like, yeah. I enjoyed my time with it, and I recommend if you like romantic suspense books. Next book I read was the paranormal romance book, and it's an old book. It's been out since I think like 2005, and that is Dark Lover. Yes, I finally started the Dark Lover series, the Black Brother Daggerhood series. And I had such a fun time with this one. I don't know why I never picked this up when I was in my like Twilight loving days. Like I would have ate this up when after reading like Twilight. Like this was so fun. Again, this follows Wrath and Beth. They're like the two main characters in this one, but it has like multiple different points of view in this. It's like in third person, I think, but it follows like different points of view. And yeah, I had a really good time with this. Like it had vampires, like romance, action in it. Yeah, I had a really good time. Yeah, it follows Wrath, who has to find Beth, who is actually he has to find Beth because Beth is a half vampire, half mortal, and her father is like one of the like Black Brother Daggerhood like guys like in this like brotherhood, but then something happens to him. I don't know if it's a spoiler. I'll just put a quick spoiler warning here, but I don't think it's spoiler because it happens within like the first like 10 pages of it. Her dad and like the guy that like said like you have to find Beth and like help her transition into this vampire because she's transitioning, I guess. And her father asks Wrath to, like, you can help, like, you're strong and you can help her with this, like, transition into, like, full, like, a vampire. But then he says no at first, but then the father, like Beth's father, dies in an accident, in like a tragic, like, car accident thing. And we don't know what happened. Like, I think it was like an explosion. Like, yeah, a car explodes. Like, again, I don't know if that's a spoiler because it happens like right at the beginning. And then that's where the story goes from there, because then Wrath is like, well, now her father died. I said no before, but you know what? I'm gonna just go find her, because now who else is going to, after he, like, asked me to. So yeah, he finds her, and then that's where this romance starts. And yeah, I had such a good time with it. It was a good first, like, book of the series. I know each book follows a different couple, I think. And so yeah, I'm excited to continue on with this series. I don't know if I'll probably, like, slowly make my way through the whole series, because there's like 20 plus books out. But yeah, I had a good time with this one. If I didn't say, I rated this one 4 stars. Hey, editing me popping in here because I totally forgot to mention my one of the books I read in January, and that is totally because I read it on my Kindle, and it just, like, totally blanked my mind because I was just showing all, like, the physical books I owned in my wrap up. And then yeah, I forgot to mention, like I said, it was after I was working my 12-hour shift, so I was tired, but I remembered it now, and that's okay. But I read Triton's Academy by Anaya Saris. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. But yeah, this is a Kindle book that I got free on one of the Stuff Your Kindle days. And I thought this was such a good time. It's a fantasy romance book, and it is very, like, quick and short read. It is a part of a trilogy, and it's like a mermaid fantasy romance. Like, it has, like, mermaid and merman. And anyway, it follows Calliope, who is the first female that gets accepted into this Triton's Academy, and not, like, most people are not very happy that she got accepted into this school, because of course it was all men, and she's, like, the first woman that was accepted, and people don't like that. So there's some people at the school that are trying to, like, there's, like, bullies that are trying to get her to, like, leave and stuff. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Zodiac Academy, but not really. Just with, like, bullying and, like, trying to push her out of this academy. But I thought it was a fun read, and it is there wasn't any, like, why choose moments kind of in this first book. But there is, like, romance kind of, like, forming with more than just one love interest in this. So yeah, it is leading to a why choose romance. But in this first one, she doesn't really get with, like, multiple, like, she's friends with multiple men in this, but she's not, she hasn't formed, like, a romantic relationship with them yet in this one. But it is going to be a why choose, like, romance trilogy. And yeah, like I said, it was pretty fun. Not, like, the best fantasy romance, but I still had a fun time with it, and I will continue on with the trilogy because they're very easy, quick reads. And this is one of the second book that I rated 3.5 stars. So yeah, that is the 7th book I read in January. I don't know why I forgot that, but yeah, just wanted to pop up quick and just say, like, that is the 7th book I read. All right, and then the last book I read is another kind of old book, and that is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, which is the first book in the Mortal Instruments series. And this follows Clary and Jace. So first it follows Clary and her friend Simon. In the beginning, they go to this like club called the they go to this club, and then Clary, it starts out like Clary finds these like guys like going into this alley, and like she's the only one that can see these people, and so like she follows them, and then she witnesses them killing something, which she finds out is a demon. Like, they are demon hunter, like shadow hunter, demon hunters, and so yeah, she like falls, and then then later on she goes back to her apartment, and then her mother just okay, sorry about that. I've been talking for a while, but yeah, this follows Clary, and after she witnesses like Jace or the like Shadowhunter people killing this like demon, then she goes back to her apartment and finds out her mother disappeared, and then she finds out that she is also one of these Shadowhunter people, like, or part Shadowhunter people, because like she can see them and she doesn't know why, but then she finds out that she is also a Shadowhunter, and then she goes to like the library, I think it is, that they all these Shadowhunter people gather, and then the story takes off from there, and like she like has these adventures with Jace, and she's trying to figure out what happened to her mother in this one. So yeah, that's how the story goes from there. I don't want to spoil anything if you have not read it. I mean, this has been out for a while, but I know some people might not have read it. But yeah, it was okay. I definitely probably would have loved this a lot more if I read it when I was younger. But it was still a fun time, and I definitely recommend it, especially if you are in like the age demographic that this is for. But yeah, I do see why there was some like little bit of like controversy with like the couple in this or romance that is happening in this. I do understand why. I don't know. I heard that it like gets like fixed in later books, but I'm not sure exactly how. But I will continue on with the series, but I gave this first one only 3 stars because yeah, like I said, I probably would have enjoyed it more when I was younger, but it was still a fun time. And I would still recommend it. So yeah, that book was the last book I finished in the month of January. And yeah, I will continue on with that series. I will read book 2 and 3. And then the series I'm very excited for is to read the, oh my gosh, now I'm blanking on the name of that series. It's the other one, oh my gosh. It's the follow-up series to that one. I will leave it up here when I remember. I'm just getting off of a 12-hour night shift, so I'm like super tired. I don't know why I got this. It's my date night off too, so that's why I also got this. It's a raspberry watermelon refresher with green tea in it, and it tastes really good. I recommend this if you haven't. I think it's one of their like Valentine's Day like drinks for limited time. It tastes really good. Anyway, so yeah, those were all the books that I read in January. Oh, I also want to mention that I did start the Outlander series. I got 200 pages into the first Outlander book, but did not finish it. So that's why I'm not wrapping up here. But I just wanted to put that there, that I did start the Outlander series. Start at least the first book anyway. And hopefully I will finish it in February. But yeah, anyway, yeah, enough of my talking. Like, I could probably talk forever about these books. But anyway, yeah, that is all the books that I read in January. I'm excited to see what I will read more of in February. Please let me know down in the comments what you read in January. Or like what your favorite book that you read in January was. And yeah, and then also leave a book stack emoji, since it's my books I read, like book stack emoji, just so I know that you have been here. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next one.